And now, marine weather around Alaska.
Today's sea ice analysis showing slowly thawing conditions here from the central Arctic coast around Point Barrow on down to the southwest there. Of course, the southerly winds today and warmer temperatures kind of expanding this northward and slowly thawing out down toward the Bering Strait there. And that pattern will continue for the foreseeable future as we progress through June. And for the coastal water forecast here, light variable winds up on the north coast there tomorrow with west-northwest breeze at 10 to 15 knots for the central coast. Along Prince of Wales Island, the outer coastline there, northwest at 20, northwest 15 for Clarence Strait, and 10-knot winds in store for Stevens Passage and Lynn Canal. Then for the day on Wednesday, variable winds at 10 knots for the central and northern inner channels and northwest 15 for Clarence Strait. South coast, west-northwest, 15 to 20 knots. Westerlies, 10 or 10 to 15 knots for the central and north coast. Prince William Sound, east wind at 10 tomorrow, seas only 2 feet. Variable winds at 10 knots for Cook Inlet with 2-foot seas. Northwest at 15 for Kamishak Bay and the Barren Islands. East winds 15 knots for the eastern North Gulf Coast. Here more of a northerly wind at about 15 there south of Resurrection Bay. And then for the day on Wednesday, brisker winds coming into the Barren Islands, western North Gulf Coast with small craft advisories in both those areas for west winds at 25 knots, southwest 20 for Kamishak Bay. Cook Inlet in the afternoon, winds will be southwest at 15 knots. And Prince William Sound, west wind at 10 knots and 20-knot westerlies for the eastern North Gulf Coast. Kodiak Island for Tuesday, west to southwest winds at 15 knots. Light variable conditions in Bristol Bay, and for the Alaska Peninsula, south to southeast winds 10 to 20 knots. And for the day on Wednesday, the peninsula looking at south-southeasterly winds at 15 to 25 knots, southeast at 10 for Bristol Bay. Kodiak Island, small craft advisories, southwest wind 25 knots. Eastern Aleutians, south winds pretty brisk tomorrow at 30 to in some cases 35 knots. And 30-knot south winds for Adak and Atka, turning southwest at 25 toward Amchitka and Kiska. And then west of Kiska, winds will be west at 20 to 25 knots. For the day Wednesday, western Aleutians, small craft advisories for south to southwest winds at 25 to 30 knots. Southeast at 30 knots for Adak and Atka, and a good south wind at 30 knots for the Fox Islands. And for the southwest coast here and St. Lawrence Island, winds will be south at 25 knots tomorrow. A little lighter in Norton Sound, but still at about 20 knots. Southeast 30 for the Pribilofs and St. Matthew Island. No change for those areas on Wednesday with 30-knot southeast winds there from St. Matthew down to St. George. And southeast at 30 knots now for the Kuskokwim Delta Coast. South at 25, Yukon Delta Coast. St. Lawrence Island, southeast 25 knots and southeast at 20 for Norton Sound. Up along the central coast here tomorrow, south at 15, western Arctic coast, south at 20, and then small craft advisories here for the Chukchi Sea for south to southeast winds 25 to 30 knots. And for the eastern Beaufort Sea coast, variable winds at 5 to 10. And for the outlook on Wednesday, a little bit more of a breeze here on the east side, west-southwest 15 to 20 knots, 20-knot southwest winds on the central coast, and small craft advisories for the west coast here for south to southwest winds at 25 knots, and southeast 20 to 30-knot winds in the forecast with 5-foot seas for the Chukchi Sea.